What's up, Macrude? Sup, Macrude? Sup, Macrude? Sup, Macrude? Hi, Macrude! Hi, Macrude! Magic. We're gonna be... okay, what's up, We're done with that bullshit. Okay, we're done with that bullshit. Okay, like, enough of that. We're gonna play some Osiris. Okay, we're gonna play some Osiris, okay? Like, I'm excited. We're gonna be leveling up magic. We're gonna be leveling up agility. Okay, it's gonna be a great day. Great day. I'm so excited. What's up? How you doing? How you doing, a game on hardcore? How you doing, Macrude? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And we got hippie. We got hippie wizard dev just chilling. Like, must have fell asleep. While he was smoking crack. And that's when the edibles kicked in. Oh no. You chose the wrong time to take those edibles, people in chat. Because I'm live now. I'm gonna be tormenting your dreams. Isn't it gonna be fun? And I'm gonna be tormenting your dreams. Because dreams come true. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to brush my hair. I need to brush my hair. What the fuck's this? I need to brush my hair. I need to brush my hair. Okay, I need to brush my hair. And I got some Builder's bars. They got a new flavor. It's Oreo flavor. The Oreo flavor. I did not expect this. I mean, I kind of did. It's like a cookie related product. But I did not expect this. That being said. And like now it's Oreo. We're gonna have an Oreo protein bar. Yay! I bet you did not know what you were in store for when you gave a follow to my Twitch channel. Well, buckle up, bucko. Because we're just getting started. Okay, like, you have no idea what you're in for. Yeah, you have no idea what you're in for, but it's okay. We're gonna get through this. Yeah, we're gonna level some magic. We're gonna level some agility. And oh yeah, Macrude left. Oh, he dipped. He's like, fuck this. I can't handle this. Wait till the edibles break off, or whatever the word is. It's okay. He'll be back. They always come back. I think the caffeine kicked in. You think? When the Adderall kicks in. Oh my goodness. Okay, what's up, everybody? What's up? We're live. How you doing this morning? You doing good? You doing good? You better be good. Okay, let's play some Osiris. Oh, I gotta open up the Jagex launcher. Jagex. Yeah, we gotta open up Jagex. Official client. And we're in. We're in. Okay, let's go. Okay, so where were we last time? Oh. Okay, we're gonna level. Let's open up the bank. Can I even make these fish? I think so. Let's examine them. Let's see if I can cook them. Okay. I obviously should probably not wear the wizard clothes. They're lower level, right? Let's just wear them anyway. We're a witch. Magic +4. Magic -3. I'm wearing all this stuff. But we don't care. I'm gonna wear my regular armor because it's like extra defense. Okay. Until we get better mage gear. Okay. Okay, let's... Oh, wait, how do I get magic? Do I have to go to the wizard trainer of some sort? No, I have wind strike. I think I have to level up in order to use spells. Okay, and we're going back to the cows. And we're gonna be leveling magic. Move. What the hell? I pushed it away. No? Congratulations, level 2! Hey, what's up, Herbie Werby? How you doing? What's up? We're gonna need an Oreo, Builder's Bar, Protein Bar. We're leveling magic. It does? But I mean, the mithril armor has like more defense though, right? Oh, I need a certain rune for that one. For confuse. We're level 3 magic. Does it level up even if I'm not accurate? Yeah, it does. I still get XP even if it misses. I should probably tell the misses. Is it the casting it that levels it? Yeah, I think it's the casting it that levels it up. Not the accuracy. Yeah, because it's level 4. Oh, I'm not in a members realm or world. Sorry. Use the wrong term. I need to switch to a members world. Wayne's World. Wait, what's going on? Oh. Okay, let's switch to members world. Okay, there we go. And now I have additional magic. I have crossbow bolt enchantments, but I don't have any bolts to enchant. Oh. That's like if you want to have like ranged attack and you want to enchant the bolts. We haven't leveled range yet. We're going to do that some other time. Right now we're leveling magic, and then we're going to go find the agility course. I don't know where the agility course is. Do you think we can cap agility today? By the way, is the audio okay? Is the music too loud? Level 5! Okay, now we got Water Strike. Oh, I can attack the cows from the other side of the fence. That's pretty cool. Level 6! Yeah, I got an eye exam today. That was kind of interesting. For the first time in a long time, I actually felt like I was properly, like not, like, overly socializing. Like, I just went in and I was, like, just, like, not even really talking to, like, the people at the clinic. Not in, like, a bad way. Like, I wasn't, like, avoiding, but I was just, like, I didn't, like, overshare anything, and, like, I think it's good. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But it's kind of a big deal for me. Usually when I go to clinics and stuff, you can enchant your jewelry. Family jewels. I'll get those another time. Is this the only way to cast magic, is to just click one at a time? I guess this is a very point-and-click game to begin with. I may as well just get used to it. I like it, it's fine. Copium. Gotta learn the tricks of the trade. Cubrella? Level 8, let's go. Like I'm throwing snowballs at it. Throwing snowballs at cows. 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 Don't you tell me what to do. Okay guys, we're live today. We're gonna play some old school RuneScape. And make sure to like and follow the stream. I mean the stream. Oh, fuck. Fucked it up. God damn. Dumb bitch. Rebecca, you're not allowed to be quirky. That's my thing. I'm like super brain dead right now. I'm like still like kind of just waiting for the caffeine to kick in, like, to be honest. Like, hey, what's up guys? I'm just so tired right now. Like, yeah, I'm like totally tired. Like, just waking up, just playing some old school RuneScape, waiting for the caffeine to kick in. Oh god, I'm just so exhausted. I'm just so tired. Yeah, like oh my goodness. I got a new spell, level 9. Earth Strike. I'm throwing an earth snowball on it. I want to use just Wind Strike because it uses less runes. That one uses 3 different runes. This one uses only 2. Or it can use, it doesn't use either or. No, it uses both. Yeah, it has to have the collection of runes in order to cast the spell. It's very complicated. It's not that deep. Not that deep. And we're only 35 minutes in, okay? Like, you better strap yourself in. I got some fun clips yesterday. I was watching the VOD. I only got like 2.5 hours in or so. I think all the clippable moments were like kind of in the first like 2 hours anyway. But you never know. Like, there's always like the chance of like some random moment you forgot about, and you don't realize that it's very different when you watch it compared to when you're saying it. So it's like, sometimes I say something and I'm like, oh, that's not, you know, clippable. And then later I'll see the VOD and I'm like, especially with the combination of everything that's happening on the screen. Like, you see this stuff happening on screen. Sometimes there's like a synergy between like what's happening on screen and like what I'm saying. And like, there's small things that I wouldn't notice unless I'm watching myself. Like my facial expression or the timing with the music or like any number of things. And it's like, I think it's really important to like recognize that, because that's why it's like I have to review the VOD, because I can potentially get some nice like clippable moments. And one of my videos popped off, one of my clips. We'll watch it really quick after this cow. Oh. You know, my ass brought the logs, but not the tinder. Plus, I have swordfish, and I can just eat the swordfish. So, kind of a moot point. Next time I go to the bank, I'm just gonna put the logs away, because I have the swordfish. When I run out of swordfish, and I have to get more. Okay, here. Let's, just a second. My YouTube algorithm is absolutely fucked, so I can't really show my my homepage, because you never know what might pop up on my. Sometimes you see YouTube. And it's like YouTube has different TOS than Twitch. So like sometimes like I've been watching like some like crazy psychedelic stories and like dark sides of YouTube. It's like like you know, documentary type videos, and like sometimes stuff pops up and I'm like, you have to right click on it, or you have to click on the 3 dots and say like not interested, but the algorithm will like show you stuff, and I'm like I didn't want to see that. Like, that video is weird from some like fringe user or whatever, like some Nazi shit. I don't know. I'm just like kind of spitballing here. Anyway, not beating the allegations.
The secret to this game is that everything that's metal is actually made of tooth enamel. That's the only difference.
Yeah, so this clip got like 700 views.
Is that everything that's metal is actually made of tooth enamel. That's the only difference between this reality and the rest of reality. Is an SRS.
Hey, what's going on?
That's the reason why it's so uncanny. It's
why is it muted?
Like real life. But the secret to this game is that everything that's metal is actually made of tooth enamel. That's the only difference between this reality and the rest of reality. Is an SRS. That's the reason why it's so uncanny. It's almost like real life. But the only difference is that metal has the same consistency as tooth enamel. And tooth enamel has the same consistency as metal. It's the only difference in the universe of RuneScape. And that's, now you know. Do with that knowledge what you will. But don't say I didn't warn you. The secret to this game is that...
Don't say I didn't warn you. Yeah, that one did like surprisingly well, like 700 views. All right, I really like this one. He didn't do too well, but I like this one because of how I say this, like the way I say it.
There's a little bit of a 64th note rest in that song. It's like there's a slight little teeny tiny like 100.
I did the wrong one, by the way.
There. I tried to learn it on recorder. It's a really hard song to play. I know like people think that song sounds easy to play. It's really deceptive. There's a slight like 128th note delay. It's like I played it on recorder once. Teeny tiny like 128th note rest there. I tried to learn it on recorder. It's a really hard song to play. I know like people think that song sounds easy to play. It's really deceptive.
It's really hard song to play. Like the way I said that, like what the hell?
There's a slight little teeny tiny like 128th note rest there. I tried to learn it on recorder. It's a really hard song to play. 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 Really hard. 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 Really hard song to play. I know like people think that song sounds easy to play. It's really deceptive. 128th note rest. I learned it on recorder. It's a really hard song to play.
It's a really hard song to play. Like, why did I say it like that? Anyway, yeah, let's get back to the game. Let's get back to business, okay? Moo. Jeez, magic is OP. Nice, level 20 hit points. Level 11 magic. I like the music. It feels so fun. Still kind of feeling like a little bit like physically tired, but I'm gonna try to go out for an IRL stream today, later. Gonna have to like kind of suck it up and just do it, even if it's too hot. I think it's actually kind of gonna stay overcast today. I think so, but either way, like I got sunscreen, I can just rough it, you know. Gotta kind of just do it and not wait for the perfect moment. That's kind of how it goes. Like just get the backpack set up, go out and just walk around for an hour and get my workout while chatting, you know. Another good way to leave the house. Level 12! Hooray! Hooray! How long are we gonna stall? This is a stalling stream, by the way. Viewers always going to be holding out hope that I'm going to stop stalling. But you thought wrong. See, I say that, and then in the back of your mind, you're like, she's bluffing. This isn't a stalling stream. She's going to do content at some point. You thought wrong. I guess we're just gonna use up those smaller runes and then go level up agility. We got 296 more casts. Alright, we got Fire Strike. Let's just cast it for funsies. Woo! We cast Fire Strike. Just for funsies. Nice, I can actually just like get the cow on the screen closer to the spell list. And I can cast faster. Easier, I mean. Oh, I can just kind of queue them up. Nice. I don't have to wait. Hey, Mira. Yeah, that's cool. I can just queue up the spells. Oh, wait, never mind. I can't. Oh, is it immune to wind strike? Or am I just like missing like crazy? Is it immune to magic, period? Oh, never mind. You know, I should probably switch to block. Because I'm not really doing a lot of melee hits. Or does block only work? Does block only get XP whenever you actually attack? So it doesn't really matter. And I'd rather level up attack because it's at level 20. Defense is already at level 21, so I need to catch up. I need a level strength. Yeah, I need a level strength XP. Oh, this is shared. How about we just do lunge? Yeah, now I'm getting XP for both. Although, let's actually, like... Let's do slash, because it's more, because it's only level 1. I didn't realize I hadn't leveled up strength. Oh my goodness. Before we level agility, I need to like level up strength. So after we do magic, I'm gonna finish up just focusing on strength. And then we're gonna go focus on agility. Because I don't really want to be doing questing until I've leveled up agility a good amount. And it also, I'm kind of stalling. I don't really feel like doing questing. I kind of just like clicking over and over and over. It's easier. I don't have to think about it as much. Go bury some bones. Level up some prayer. Oh, magic levels up like kind of quickly. Like sometimes it does like 20. Not just like 5. Okay, we're level 15 magic. Almost level 16. Nice. Oh, and I'm level 18 combat level. Yeah, let's level up strength a bit. Just focus on it. It's a little easier. Kind of take a little bit of a break from clicking over and over. Because just strength is so low level, we can get it up a little bit more quickly. Here, level 109. Alright, level 3 strength. And I think when we eventually, after I've gotten strength to level 20, get magic to level 20, then I'm gonna get another coffee, and then we're gonna go level agility. I gotta do some squats. Okay, 10 spots. Right, level 5 strength. Oh my goodness, yeah, we got some leveling up to do today. And we do need to get prayer up. Sandwiches? Sandwich lady? You look hungry. Oh my goodness. I want a sandwich. Hey, I didn't say you could have that. What? But she's a sandwich lady. What the heck? Do a ninja run. Hoying Ranger. Kagebunchi no Jutsu. Alright, level 6 prayer, let's go. Can we get clarity of thought at level 7? Yeah. Ooh, we get rapid heal at level 22. Yeah, we need to get level 22 prayer. Oh. Yeah, not really sure what's on my mind today. It's kind of like, I'm kind of like blank right now. Can't really think about what to talk about. I'm like, I want to be able to like... I want to create things. Like, that's one of the things that is important to me, because I feel like otherwise life is just kind of meaningless. And it's like this Like, if I kind of like take that thought and think about that thought for a little bit, like, why is it so important to me that I create? I mean, it's like, yeah, we could think like, yeah, there's incentives like societally and like financially, but like those are important. And so you kind of have to like think, you know, it's like, what can you do to really like benefit society and also benefit yourself? And it's like, well, I like to, you know, one of the things that just comes naturally to me is I like laughing. I like making people laugh. And I also like thinking about, you know, not always laughing, like being able to like rein it in and like talk about serious stuff, because, you know, you can't always be one thing. I mean, you can, but like it gets exhausting, like one way or the other. Like if you're always funny, people are like, okay, like why don't you take anything seriously? Like I can't even talk to you. If you're always serious, people are like, lighten up. So it's like you can't really win. And I don't know, there's like this idea that I have in my mind about wanting to create and not really having any idea of what it is that I want to create. Which I guess that's like not a bad problem to have, because as long as you have the willingness to create, then it's like, well, and then it becomes a matter of figuring out the what. And that's like a bit of a different problem than like trying to find motivation. I have the motivation. I have the, you know, inspiration. I also have a good level of the perspiration. Like literally right now I am talking about a topic. It may not be like the best, like, you know, content, but like at least I'm talking about it. Like, whereas like even like a minute ago or 2 minutes ago, I had like no idea what I wanted to even talk about. And now I'm talking about the fact that there is a drive inside of me that I want to create. And it's like, it kind of goes in this weird loop, and I'm kind of like a little bit pissed off that like the only thing I can seem to think about is the fact that I want to create. And it's like, well, how do I get out of that box? How do I get into like the realm of actually creating, to actual topics, actual things, and not just the idea of creating? Like that's so boring to me. It's so meaningless too. Like there's so many YouTube channels out there like how to write a novel, and that's the only videos they make. And they don't even, they might have like a novel or two published, but like, I'm not trying to like, you know, cast shade on any of those people, but it's just like, if you haven't really, if you've only published one book and that book is how to write a novel, and you've never wrote a novel, like, then what's the point of having like the guide? Because it's like, I'd rather learn from somebody who's, you know, been like a New York Times bestseller. Not that you can't learn anything from people who don't really, you can always learn something from anybody. So it's like, because people have different perspectives on things and all that. And also through the process of analyzing your process, you can sometimes like get yourself to like do this meta-analysis. In the end of the day, like the only thing that's going to finish your novel is sitting down to write the novel. Like no amount of like, oh, if I write a grocery list of every single character in my novel, what their favorite ice cream is, and like all that kind of stuff is really just kind of, it's better than like not doing anything at all. I don't want to like say that it's useless, because at least then you're like at least remotely thinking about your work, which is better than not thinking about your work at all. Sometimes actually like distracting yourself would probably be better, because then you're letting your brain kind of like think about other things. If I was going to sit down to work on my novel, I want to actually do some real work on it. I don't want to just like write like, oh, what's my main character's favorite ice cream flavor? Like nobody cares. Like that's just like pretending. It's like pretending like you know, like that you're doing something. And it's like, I don't like that. I'm not delusional. I know that the only real way to work on my novel, if I'm not like directly working on the story, if I'm not directly working on like the meat of the characters, like not just like random things Like, yeah, the random things are important internally, but like, there's bigger fish to fry. Like, you need to understand like the big picture better. You need to understand like the important things that are actually going to end up in the novel. Like, there's like a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah, like I guess sometimes the smaller stuff leads to the bigger stuff. But some people, it's like they're glued to the aesthetic of being a writer without doing any actual writing, and it's like I don't really care so much about that. Now, obviously, some people have earned it. Like, they've actually, like, they have the aesthetic and they, like, finish their work. But in the end of the day, like, finishing your work is also not, doesn't necessarily mean you're a good writer. And, like, there's a lot of people out there that they finish writing and then they publish when they shouldn't have. When they should have workshopped their book more. And I think that's like the dangers of self-publishing. And it's like, but then there's also the level of imposter syndrome and perfectionism, where because you're afraid to self-publish, because you want your work to be more polished, then you never end up finishing it because you keep revising it. That's another problem. But I would rather have that problem than publishing too early. Because publishing way too early, which is what I think what a lot of people do, and this whole obsession with like having sensitivity readers, I think that's bullshit. Write the work you want to write. If people have a problem with it, that's their fault. And you can always, like, you know, discuss things later. Like, if fans bring up stuff about your personality from your book, first of all, your work is not you. But also, like, if people are gonna have a problem with it, like, they don't have to read it. Like, I don't understand what this whole obsession with sensitivity readers are. You should just write a book that's authentic, and if you're doing it right, you know, you're going to be doing research on like how to effectively write different characters. Like, obviously, I guess that's what they mean when they say sensitivity readers. It's like what they mean is they want to make sure they're not offending people or they're not like triggering people. Yeah, I don't know. There's this huge trend of like, I didn't realize this was a thing, but I've seen like first pages of books that say, in this book it has the following topics, and it's like 2 pages of all these things that are going to trigger people. Like, oh, it mentions self-harm, it mentions it. It's like, I can understand if it's like a bigger thing like self-harm or something, but it's like, dude, like, why don't you let people read and find out? It's like, dude, like, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you need to know every single thing that, like, you may as well pre-read the whole book. Like, if you're gonna put a big giant list of everything that's gonna appear in the book, like, why not just that's like a huge spoiler to like what, like, why don't you let people like organically react to it? Because that's my intention as a writer. I want to make people uncomfortable so that they can think about things. And it's entertaining in its own way, because a lot of people, it's like they don't know that they need that. If people see it on a trigger warning page, they're going to be less likely to read it, because they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to read that. And it's like, well, what if they read it and it actually wasn't as bad as they thought it was? And then now they're stronger, they're more resilient. We really have like a problem with people who are not very resilient. No, there's a line to cross where it's just abusive, but like, you don't have to read a book. You're the one who bought it. Okay, you can read a review of it or whatever, but I'm not gonna put trigger warnings in my book. Okay, like dude, like, read and find out. Like, it's not that hard. You shouldn't be reading books if you're like, you should just not even leave the house if you're afraid of being triggered. Like, the world is going to trigger you. I'm sorry. That's like a United States, like, problem. Like, there are places where people are, like, getting bombed and shit. Like, dude. Like, first, like, you think that, like, oh, you know, I can't handle that topic. Well, then don't read it. But, like, you know, oh, but how am I supposed to know if I read it if there's no trigger warning? Well, then read and find out. And, you know, it's like, I don't want to, like, treat my readers like they're unintelligent. You know, my readers are like more like mature people. And if you're not mature enough to handle my work, then read and find out. And like, I don't know. I just, I don't like write super crazy stuff, but like at the same time, I kind of like, I don't really like this idea that a lot of people have had. I understand if it's like with young children, you don't want to like be talking about stuff, but like I'm not writing for young children. And if you have a problem with my, well, yeah, you know, my 13-year-old read your book and I don't like it. It's like, well, then I wasn't targeting this book for 13-year-olds. Maybe you should have read the book before you let your kid read it. That's not on me. If you care so much about what books your kids are reading, maybe you should screen everything they read. Maybe you should take the time to do it instead of me, the writer, the one who's not responsible for what your kid reads. You know, like, I don't like this idea of like putting 100% of the responsibility on the content creator. Now there is like, you know, kind of responsibility. I don't want to like, you know, do bad things, but at the same time, it's like, in the end of the day, if it's my work, I'm going to make decisions that are the best decisions for the work, not for some group of readers or viewers or whatever that are angry at my existence. Like, you know, this is like a problem in our society, that people think that every single piece of content has to be super rated G, everybody has to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Like, dude, no. People sometimes get murdered. It's a reality. And if you write a story that's like a murder mystery, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's going to be like gruesome details sometimes. You know, and like a romance, like I'm not going to make everything super rated G. I might put really sexual stuff in there. Because that's what my readers want. That's what I want. I'm the writer, which makes me the reader. You know, so it's like, well, I don't understand why people have such a problem with what somebody else's vision is. If you want something different, then go write your own book. Go make your own YouTube videos. Oh, I used to like you as a YouTuber, but then you changed and I don't like the message that you're sending to children. It's like, I'm not making videos for children. What's your problem? It's like, if you don't want your children watching my videos, then you be the parent. I'm not their parent. If you're letting YouTube parent your kids, that's on you. If you're letting TikTok parent your kids, that's on you. I'm so sick and tired of this mentality. Now, within like an ecosystem of collaboration, there's like a little bit of a give and take. Because then it's like, well, you know, I wouldn't want to work with somebody who's like screaming in my face. Like, that's just like ridiculous. Unless it was like literally like part of their bit. And like, you know, like, and it's like understood and like I agree to it. But like, I don't want somebody like, you know, who might be violent. You know, like somebody who's like harassing me. Like, you know, and with like, you know, not in like a consenting way. Not for like a script, you know, like if it's scripted, that's different, because then it's like I've read the script and I know what's going on and I agreed to it. You know, that's different. But like if somebody is going to be like literally legitimately harassing me, why would I want to work with that person? So it's like, you know, that's a little different, because that's like a collaboration space. But when it's just me doing my content, like, I don't understand like why some people out there, they see some kind of like crusade they need to go on because there's nothing going on in their lives, and they want to be the victim and they need something to have a crusade about. Oh, I don't like violence in video games. We need to get rid of Grand Theft Auto because it's encouraging people to steal cars and shoot people. Like, no, it's fucking not. You know what it is? Like, you know, like actual, like, you know, gang, you know, grooming. Like, and maybe you should, like, take care of your own kids instead of, like, blaming people who have nothing to do with whatever is going on in your life. Like, somebody who has nothing to do with you, making their own vision, making their own art. Like, dude, if you can't handle it, then don't watch it. But, you know, the people, I'm making it for the people who can handle it. And like, because I can handle it, because I'm pretty tough. I'm a tough bitch. Okay, like, and I'm gonna say and do things that most people, maybe some people, are going to find offensive, or they're gonna find uncomfortable. Good. I want you to be uncomfortable, because then you start to grow. You start to learn. That's the reality. Is people need to grow the fuck up and stop treating everything like a kindergarten class when it's not a kindergarten class. This is the internet. This is YouTube. There's going to be dark shit that is the dark part of reality. And if you can't accept that, then you're burying your head in the sand, which is your right, but don't come after me about it. Like, don't come after the people who are living in reality, who are trying to create their vision. And like, you know, maybe my vision isn't the greatest, and that's a different problem to have. If you have, you know, suggestions or like notes, I want to hear it. That's part of the discussion, right? Like, if you have something to say, you know, like, be a part of the conversation. Don't try to end the conversation. That's very different. Now, if you think that like something I say or do is like problematic, then, you know, you better have some reasons. And the reasons better not be, oh, well, I don't want children watching it. Okay, well, that's not my fault. That sounds like a parent's problem. Like, you should be, if you care so much about what your kids are viewing on the internet, then why don't you take better measures to prevent that? And I'm just going to be real. Like, you're not going to be able to protect your children forever. And every parent has to understand this. They say, oh, if you're not a parent, what right do you have to say it? I have an objective viewpoint that you will never have. If you're a parent, you're too lost in the sauce. Here, let's just jump. Taking up like unnecessary space. And it's like, this conversation is like a real problem, and it's like, it seems to be going away, but like, that doesn't mean you should go in the opposite direction. I'm so sick and tired of this pendulum swinging. Like, you can either have this way or this way, and there's no like nuance, there's no balance. Sick and tired of it. I really wish people would just learn how to say, hey, just because something is like different, needs to be different, doesn't mean you have to go all the way in the opposite direction. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, there's a good thing about having like some kind of censorship, not in the ways that like most people would think, but like some kind of censorship where it's the level of like, hey, like maybe not like just show dead bodies all the time or something like that. Like, first of all, it's not even because you shouldn't. It's because it's just like it's not good storytelling. And you have to ask yourself at every step of the way, do I really need to include this part in my content? Do I really need to include this chapter or this detail? And if it adds to your work, then you should add it. If it takes away from your work, you shouldn't. And that's the only decision making you should be having as a creator. Obviously, you know, overarching, like if something's completely against your internal belief system, you know, you should be able to look at yourself in the mirror. But in the end of the day, your work is not you. Your work is something you made. It is not you. You are so much more meaningful than whatever work you make. It doesn't matter if you're like absolute New York Times bestseller, like award-winning author, or like, you know, photographer or YouTuber. Like, none of that stuff is actually you. Those are just achievements you've made. And it could be the greatest achievements of all time. It's still not you. And I think detaching your own identity from your work is like the first step to having a healthier life. Because if, you know, your only decision making should be what benefits the work. If it benefits it, keep it in. Maybe even expand on it. If expanding on it takes away from it, then don't expand on it. If you need to tone it down to make it better, then tone it down. But don't listen to the freaking mob of like Karens who are gonna be like, oh, you know, I don't really like books about violence. Okay, well, I'm gonna write a fucking violent book. There's gonna be people like, you know, pulling apart bodies and shit. Okay, like, you know, like if you don't like that, find another author. Like Stephen King's not going to tone down his book for some random Karen. Okay? There's plenty of authors out there who aren't going to trigger you. Go support them. I support them because they're creating their vision. You know, it's like I'm not mad at people who do quote unquote woke stuff. That's not what I'm mad about. That you can do whatever your vision is. It's what you are making. That's you being an artist. But I'm gonna completely clap anybody who is pointing at other people and saying you can't do that. I understand criticism, but as soon as you start getting it in your mind that you need to change someone else by going on Twitter and having like this giant campaign, first of all, you're only hurting yourself because you're putting your whole entire life into trying to change other people. And it's like, dude, like, go write your own book. If you don't like these books, go make your own YouTube videos. If you don't like these videos, don't come after me. It doesn't matter like who you are, whether you're the absolute like most rated G content creator or whether you're fucking like Game of Thrones level shit. I don't care. That's your vision. But if you're gonna come after those people, and this works either way, like anybody who's come after people just because, oh, why are you, what is this, Blue's Clues? It's like, dude, that's their vision. They want to write like a super like kid-friendly thing. That's their vision. Like why are you trying to get in the way of their vision? And it's like, or if someone's gonna say, you know, I don't really like how your book has like, you know, like rape and incest, or like, you know, dude, it's like Game of Thrones. It's about that shit. And it's way worse in real life. Like real life is way fucking worse. Like I'm so sick and tired of people burying their head in the sand and then getting angry at people who are just putting a vague reflection of reality into their content. Like George R.R. Martin, and people are pissed off about how long he's taking to finish the series. Do you want the series finished or do you want it to be good? And he said this before. It's like, dude, he's good at what he does. There's a reason why you're begging and kicking him to, why you're begging and kicking and screaming for him to finish it. It's because he's good at what he does. Do you want it good or do you want it finished? Because HBO finished it and a lot of people didn't like it. So do you? It's already been finished technically. You want it. You want his work, which means you're gonna have to accept that he's gonna do it at his own pace. He has other stuff he does too. You don't care about him. You don't care about his other work. You don't care about the other authors that he supports. You know, like you don't care about his life work at all. You care about the Song of Ice and Fire. And that's fine because he, you know, as a creator, you kind of have to accept not everything is going to be, you know, not everybody is going to be part of every single part of your work. But I think it's like extremely ridiculous that people are like pissed off that he's not finishing the book. And it's like, well, when it's finished, it's going to be really fucking good. Like really fucking good. I can't wait for it to I'm going to reread the entire series when there's a launch date. When they announce the launch date. I'm going to reread the entire series. I am so excited for Winds of Winter. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like entitlement that like consumers always think that they own the work because they read it or because they watch it. It's like, dude, you're doing like literally nothing. You're just absorbing it, and your opinion matters because if there were no consumers, then, you know, obviously I think there's like a reason to create outside of, you know, consumerism. You know, outside of like, you know, obviously people need to create things because they need to make money or because they, you know, they also need information. Like, what do my readers like? What do my readers not like? But at the end of the day, you're the one who makes those decisions. You're gathering in the information, you know, but, you know, which is a difference between feedback and Karenism. Because Karenisms are like, you basically, no matter what I do, you're going to have a problem with it. You're going to find some issue that you personally have an issue with everything that revolves around that topic. It has nothing to do with the content creator. It's because you are personally triggered and it bothers you. Well, then maybe you should go talk to a therapist and not come after me on Twitter. So it's, I'm kind of like sick and tired of blood fart. Blood fart 77. What a name, bro. See, if I was a Karen, I'd be like, excuse me, I have a condition where every time I fart, I bleed from the ass, and I don't find your username particularly appropriate. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Do you see what I'm saying? That username is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Somebody would say, why is your name Blood Fart? That's offensive because I have a medical condition where every single time I fart, blood comes out. So that's offensive to people like me. It's like, okay. Do you see me coming directly to you? Like, it has nothing to do with you. Like, it's one thing if you're coming after like a demographic of people. Like if your username is literally the N-word. Like, I mean, the first of all, that would be against the terms of service, because, like, you know, most people are gonna have like see, that's where, like, there's a difference between, like, you know, obviously at some point you have to think about the consumer. If the majority of people find something uncomfortable, that's a little different. But just because the majority finds something uncomfortable, you know, in the end of the day, you have to make the decision that's right for you. And so, like, you know, most likely, I really do think that most people don't like racism, like overt racism. And, like, you know, you can block people if they're annoying you. You don't have to, like, I don't know, there's like a certain level of things where it's like, yeah, some things are like actually like bothersome and offensive, like people who are just outright annoying, right? But just because you're offended personally doesn't mean that that person is trying to offend you. Like, I wouldn't name myself Blood Fart. I named myself Rebecca Smash because that's my, like, World of Warcraft warrior name. Like, I'm not gonna make my name Blood Fart, but that person chose to do it. I mean, you don't have to make your username that. And if it bothers you, then block him. Or whatever. But don't get mad at like Jagex for allowing that person to have the username. You're reporting the person's name because I'm reporting this username because I have a medical condition where every time I fart, blood comes out, and that's offensive to me. And I don't think that you should be allowing that kind of talk on your platform, on your game, because you're encouraging that kind of behavior. It's like, dude, you're coming to all sorts of conclusions. And it's like, and I'm speaking from experience. I've been there. Now, I think it's a little bit different because it's more like I'm a trans person, and like some things are like, you know, there is like kind of a gray area, but there are some things that are like legitimately just like, hey, like you're legitimately like hating trans people and harassing people. Like if you're going around and like constantly like screaming at people, and like, you know, misgendering people on purpose to make them mad, and like, you know, that's targeted harassment, and that's a problem regardless of who you are. Like, I'm not gonna go and target like someone that I disagree, like that's what I'm talking about. Like the whole Karenism thing, it can work both ways. Like if somebody's gonna come after someone for like saying something that they find offensive, I also feel like if that person, if it was flipped around, if that person was then being legitimately like offensive towards people, that's just like bothering people. Like nobody wants that. They're only entertaining themselves for their own sick pleasure. Like they want to go around and like say their weird edgy shit and just, you know, see how people react. And if enough people are going to complain. So obviously, in the end of the day, there is some level of mob mentality, but unfortunately, that's like it's a hard discussion sometimes, because it's like, how much do you allow and how much do you say no to? That's the art of like moderation. Like, how are you supposed to know if something is offensive or not? If it's so offensive that it merits moderation. Because mob mentality is one thing, but just because it's popular doesn't mean it's correct. Just because the majority of people complain about it doesn't mean that the developers should capitulate to that. If that's the case, you're like a sheep. You're like, oh, I'm capitulating to the mob because, you know, like, this is the whole thing, because a lot of people complain about, like, you know, they get mad because a video game allows you to select pronouns. And they're like, oh, if we get enough people to complain about it, we can change that. It's like, dude, the developer literally just put a drop-down menu with pronouns. They're not on some kind of crazy rampage like you seem to be. That's the same exact goddamn thing as someone who sees a game that doesn't have pronouns and then tries to go on a Twitter campaign of trying to cancel the developer. How come they don't have pronouns in the game? Like, why aren't they having pronouns? They're transphobic. Like, dude, that's fucking weird. Not every game is gonna have pronouns. It's not even like necessary. Now, if RuneScape, they added pronouns because that makes sense, because you're making a character that's your own. But if there's a video game that does not have that kind of dynamic of like character creation, they're going to create their own vision. If they make a, you know, they're going to make a male character, and they're going to choose the pronouns themselves because they're the ones writing the character. If they want to make a trans character and they use pronouns that are the opposite of what they were assigned at birth, or they use they them pronouns, that's the writer's choice. And they are not going to capitulate to the mob, just as much as the developer who refuses to put pronouns in their game should not capitulate to the mob either. And I think it goes both ways. And I guess it always comes back to Baltimore. This is kind of an interesting phenomenon. You can't escape him. Like, Asmongold is just ever present. And I think it's like, here's the point, is you can't stop Asmongold, and you shouldn't want to. He's a representative of an entire demographic of people, and they are real people. And if you don't listen to them, they're just going to keep getting further radicalized. They need to be a part of the conversation too. Now, if they're not going to behave themselves, that's different. He bans people from his chat that he finds unhinged. Okay, so a lot of his viewers, they probably like have this own fan fiction in their head of what his beliefs are. I think everybody does, for every content creator. And it's like, here's the thing, is like, people who are trying to deplatform Asmongold, what are you trying to fight for? Why are you dying on that hill? If you want to deplatform Asmongold, then you should deplatform yourself too, because it's like, well, people are going to have a problem with what you believe. People are going to have a problem with what you say. So it's like, you know, you may not like what he says. I don't like everything that he says. I think what he says is like problematic a lot of the times. I think like maybe he needs to calm down a little bit. I would be happy to have a conversation with him. It's unlikely to happen. I'm not going to say never, but like it's very unlikely to happen. I doubt he's going to want to talk to me. But like, there's a difference between understanding that someone has incomplete knowledge and just trying to cancel them altogether. Because then you're ending the conversation before it even starts. And how is that going to help anybody? If your cause is that you want people to be more understanding of trans issues, for example, the answer isn't canceling every single person who remotely says something that's like problematic. That's only going to push people further and further away from understanding. Your first step is to understand and have compassion. To understand that this person has incomplete knowledge and that their beliefs come from that. And that the same goes for you. You have incomplete knowledge about things too. There's things I don't understand. There's things I like find problematic that if I truly like listened and understood, maybe I wouldn't find as problematic. I do think that's like that there is like a there is kind of like a more consensus of things that are just outright offensive and have no like defense. But like that's few and far between. Anyway, I've been going on this rant for a while for no reason. Sometimes you just need to take a step back. I think sometimes you get a little bit too, like, pigeonholed into a topic. Not that there's, like, a problem with that. Like, you know, just kind of roll with it. You know, like, see where it goes. However, if it's, like, bothering me, then I need to, like, take a step back. Like, hey, like, I don't have to talk about it just now. Like, I can wait. It'll come back. If something's important, it's gonna come back. Like, I don't think there's any topic that is like you only get one chance to talk about it. You know, if something's important, you're gonna revisit it. Okay, what level strength? We need 2 more levels in strength, and then we're gonna have 4 levels in magic. And then I'm gonna go level, and then we're gonna go find the agility course, and I'm gonna level agility. We're getting everything to level 20. I don't know if I can get agility to level 20. I don't know. I don't know how slow agility is. I forgot. It's been a many years since I even played that far. I've never gotten super far in this game. Like, not super far. I think like level 20 on like the basic, you know, skills and stuff, like and then kind of go from there, like go questing, and then over time like level different gatherings and like fishing and stuff like that. But I have a whole bunch of swordfish, and there's an auction house or whatever. Grand exchange. Nice, level 19 strength. And you know the thing is when I say things like that, there's people who are gonna try to cancel me. They're like, oh, you're just trying to, I had one person who was like angry that I was saying something that Asmongold said, and they were like, oh, you're just punching sideways. I'm like, dude, you're not even like listening to what I'm trying to say. I was trying to say something about one specific topic, and this person just didn't like that it was something Asmongold said. It had nothing to do with like the content of what I was saying. It was because they didn't like Asmongold. I'm like, dude, that's fucking weird. Just because somebody says something, you know, anybody could have said that. I don't agree with every single thing Asmongold says, far from it. But you don't have to agree with every single thing people say in order to like learn from it or find value or, you know, some kind of growth, you know, or some kind of like, you know, harmony in the world. Harmony doesn't mean absolute acceptance. Harmony means you pick your battles. Like, it's a losing battle to try to get for whatever these weird people are trying to do, if you we can use like Asmongold as like a straw man. He could literally be any content creator that you don't like. But there's gonna be people who don't like you, and if we canceled every single person just because people don't like them, well, you know, it's like if you reap what you sow. You're setting up an environment where people who don't like you are gonna be able to control your life. And it's like, dude, if you don't like what Asmongold says and you want him to be canceled, then you shouldn't complain when people cancel you. Because I feel like, you know, there's no reason like why people can't have their own platform. And it's like, I don't have to have the platform Asmongold has. I don't have the same beliefs he has. I'm not him. You know? Hey Carsa Penguin. Thanks for the follow. You know, so if people have like a problem with something that I like, if I agree with something he says and somebody wants to poke holes into it, now that's a completely different thing. That is called discussion. That is called debate. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. I am happy to talk about things if it's coming from a place of good faith. If somebody is just mad at me because I said something Asmongold said, and they're mad because they don't like Asmongold, and they have no like logical like explanation for like why what I said was problematic, then what if I had like they're basically, they don't care about the topic. They don't care about what the person said, because if I said literally the same thing, these same people would be like, yeah, true. And I could say the same thing about his audience. There's things that if I say it, they're gonna have a problem with it because I'm a trans woman. And if he said the exact fucking same thing, they'd be like, true, brother. Because his viewers are, a lot of his viewers are sheep. Okay, and he knows this. And he finds it annoying. But it's just like, if you take the same exact words and you put them in two different people's mouths, and you get a different reaction from the same person, I call bullshit. Because it's like, if you know, obviously there's going to be subtle, like, you know, nuances, but like at the same time, like if you have two people that say the exact same thing, and you have a person who's mad at one person who says it, and they're not mad at another person who says it, that's a double standard. And it's like, if like, sometimes there are things Asmongold says that I agree with, and if I say it, someone's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, that makes sense, you know. It's like, but if he says it, they're like, oh, that's transphobic or whatever. And it's like, dude, like, how come it's not transphobic when I say it, but it is when he says it? It's because you have an agenda against him. It has nothing to do with what he says. And I don't have a problem with, you know, being able to discuss a topic. Like, if you want to, but don't make it about the person. They're just a human being who are breathing and sleeping and pooping. It's like, topics and ideas are not you. And you can always change those things. And you're really less likely to change them if you're going to be met with just anger and like being annoyed. Okay, we're finished with strength. And just like, you know, make sure to just bury all the bones. Go level prayer for a while. Anyway, here's the thing, is it's kind of like a slippery slope, because it's like, there's always going to be somebody, like, if I keep talking about certain people like Asmongold or someone, people are gonna get mad because they're like, why are you talking about that guy? Like, you're a trans woman. Why are you should be against him. And I'm like, fuck off. You're not helping the movement. If that's your mentality. If you just want to like blanket cancel people and like, you're just gonna hate people and it doesn't even matter what they say, you just have to have this default of Asmin equals bad. That's the same thing that the people who hate trans people do. And you're doing the same exact goddamn thing. And I find it like really disgusting behavior. I don't approve of it at all. And I don't think those people are part of the trans movement. I think they're like, they're part of something else. And it's not good. Oh yeah, we need to go talk to Adventurer John, because I probably, oh yeah, I was gonna level magic more. Before we do agility. So let's get to level 20 agility. I probably got some stuff from Adventurer John. Okay, can you start with strength? I got 10 trout and 1 strength I got strength potions. Amulet of strength, let's go. Nice, and I got some runes. I got a staff of air for magic. Got strength potions. Don't really need those. Wear this amulet of strength. I guess I can just put those in the bank, huh? I don't know why I'm keeping them. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm like kind of going on a weird tangent about all that. It's on my mind a lot. Because I'm like trying to figure out a way to move things forward for myself and for others. And it's like, well, how do we do that? When there's people who, like, if you have a problem with Asmongold, then like we already know that like he's not going to stop doing what he's doing. So why would you keep doing something that you know is going to fail? That's insanity. So we need to have these conversations. If you don't like things that he says, well then let's try to figure out ways to like, you know, change the conversation. And maybe he will change his mind. I mean, I doubt it, but like, you never know. I don't want to just like completely just discount it. And it doesn't really particularly matter anyway. Like, why does he need to change? Why do I need him to change? That's like the real question. Wait, what's the difference between these two? How come those are listed in a stack? Oh. Wait, how come they were in a stack before? How come they're not in a stack now? What the hell? Oh, I guess you can't use them until you get them out of the stack, or whatever. Oops. Yeah, I don't know what I'm really rambling on about. Sometimes it's like, I think it's just like, there's always this like kind of pressure to like, when I just kind of go on autopilot and I start talking a lot. Okay. But like, there must be a reason like why I'm talking about it. It must be on my mind, right? Yeah, I think I've unlocked more mage gear anyway. So I think I was just low on inventory. Oops, why did I run all the way? I think I was just low on inventory, so let's go back to Adventure John and get the rest of my mage gear. I mean, I think I get more at level 20. Oh. Yeah, let's change the subject. Have more protein bar. Yeah, the Oreo Builder's Bar is pretty good. Like, oh. I was gonna go to Adventure John. Hey, what's up? Can I pop one? What do you mean? Not sure what you mean by that. Oh, you mean a squat? I popped a squat. Nice, level 23 hit points. Combat level 25. All right, level 17. The cow is like sidestepping. Yeah, and so it's like sometimes I get a little bit mad at myself for like things that I probably shouldn't be like getting mad about. Like if I keep paying attention to like different like conversations among content creators, there must be a reason. Like there's something that I'm paying attention to that maybe my subconscious like, you know, needs to like listen to. And I may not understand it all the time, and sometimes it might make me upset. You know, I can take care of my mental health. I'm pretty good at that. I kind of know how to like take breaks and like not always like paying attention to things that make me upset. But I also think that like, you know, there's a reason why I keep coming back to certain topics or certain content creators. It kind of fascinates me that someone like Asmongold that people have so much of a problem with is, you know, regardless of what people think of him, is still able to have extreme massive success. There's a reason for that, and I feel like I can learn from that. I don't know, like, I mean, in a different way, but like, there's some kind of common theme among successful content creators. And it may not always be the direct one-to-one, but then you have to deal with, like, obviously haters are gonna hate. Some people are just so ignorant, no amount of explanation is going to convince them that you're not a problem. They're like, refuse to do any kind of good faith. There's people out there who refuse to like accept that like, hey, it's possible that big streamers are kind of painful. I mean, I think it's fascinating. I'm kind of addicted. There's people out there who they see a clip of me reacting to an Asmongold video and they think I'm problematic. I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. Just because I'm reacting to it? Like, what if I reacted to... Do you think that if I watch the news about a murder, that I'm, like, okay with murder? Like, it's just ridiculous. Oh, no, you watch the news about, like, you know, racism. You learned about racism. That makes you racist. Like, what? I don't understand this mentality. They associate that any level of engagement with a content creator that isn't hate, they see as support. They see as agreement. They see as endorsement. And that's disgusting behavior. Like, dude, like, you want to hate Asmongold even when he says things you agree with. And that's like, even when it goes against your own beliefs, you feel like you have to hate him so people don't judge you. That's weird. Like, I don't, like, if that's not sustainable at all. Like, if in order to be popular, report you for punishment, report to me for punishment. Oh. You're under arrest. I've come to lock you up. Okay. Wait, what did I do? You have unlocked a new music track, Magic Dance. Choose the swinging key which matches the shaped hole in the large spinning lock. It's a diamond. Oh, this also unlocks your magic level. What? Oh. I see. I don't know what happened. What the hell happened there? Was that just like random? Or did I accidentally PvP someone or something? Was that a GM? Or was that just tutorial? And I just don't like this all or nothing mentality, pretty much. That you have to, no matter what, be against a specific content creator. Because oh, well, that content creator is problematic, etc. Like, dude, I understand there's a difference between, like, being, like, nuanced and, like, you know, maybe just because somebody is, like, you know, maybe problematic 90 times out of 100, there's still, like, 10 times where they're not problematic. And to like, just outright think anything this person says is problematic, any kind of support, even watching that person's videos makes you a bad person. That's ridiculous. That's so unintelligent. It's extremely, that's problematic. Like, if you want to get canceled, I'll cancel the cancelers. The chancellors. I'll cancel the cancelers, okay? They need to be canceled. They're problematic. Because then it sets a weird precedent. It means that you're going to support someone no matter what, and you're going to be against someone no matter what. What if somebody that you support ends up doing something that's really bad? Are you just going to keep supporting that person? It's like the people who are like, free Diddy. Or like they're okay with Kanye West's behavior because they like his music. Or P. Diddy because they like his music, or whatever. Like, dude, you have a bias because you like that person's music, and that doesn't mean every single thing that person does is okay. Like, it works both ways, like the cancel culture thing. And if you're not careful, it's gonna come back and haunt you. So it's like, I don't know, I need to stop really caring so much, because there's always gonna be someone who has a problem with you no matter who you are or what you say. You could be like the most perfect person, amazingly kind person, and someone is going to have a problem with you. So I'm so sick and tired of letting that decide whether or not I'm feeling good about myself or not. My self-worth comes from within me and what my values are, and I see the big picture, and people who see that are the people that understand me. And yeah, obviously maybe there might be times where I might be going too far. And I think like mature people would be able to like point that out without completely wholesale canceling me. Be like, hey, like, you know, what you're saying is like, you know, wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, how so? And if they can't tell me, then they're just being weird. If you have an opinion and you can't back it up, that tells me you don't have an actual opinion. It tells me that you just don't like the person who said it. And maybe I'm wrong, but like that, I'm pretty sure that's the case. That you have something against the person who said the thing, and you just want to be against it because it's popular to be against it. Because you want your friend group to, you know, you want people to like you, which is not a problem. I don't blame them. But like if in order for people to like you, you have to constantly like question your values. It doesn't matter what those values are. Like if you have to constantly question your values in order to remain popular with your group, maybe you should find a new group. You know, because at some point, if you continue to like, you know, the issue I have with Asmongold is that he knowingly continues to be, he willingly continues to be ignorant about things, even though he talks about them so much. And just because you're right about one thing doesn't mean you're right about other things. And it's like he can't seem to see the nuance. He can't seem to see things in different angles. He has like a narrow tunnel vision, and it's not going to be his downfall, but it is a blind spot. And I don't think he realizes it. And I think it's if he truly wants to make the best content, I think he needs to address that. It has nothing to do with whatever the mob tries to think or do. It has nothing to do with any of that. This is like from like literally from a creative standpoint, he's doing himself a disservice by not completely like understanding different angles and refusing to learn new things about something from different angles. He's doing his creation a disservice because first of all, then it just gets repetitive. But second of all, if you truly want to like be fair, if you know, because he espouses an idea that he wants to be fair and he wants to speak reality. I think that's like that's a logical fallacy. I forget which logical fallacy it is, but it's like what is it? That's a character trait. It has nothing to do with what he says. If he lived in absolute like beauty, and if he was like absolutely drop dead gorgeous, if he became trans and like had like the magical anime girl surgery or something, if he had like big giant titties, full head of hair, looked like a hot anime girl, I would still have problems with things he says. Like if he had lived in pristine, like his whole house clean, him living with cockroaches does not invalidate what he says. Those are separate things. What is that called? That's ad hominem. That's a logical fallacy because it has nothing to do with the things that he says. Now it does influence a lot of the, you know, you can kind of say like, oh, well that explains some things, but that's a little bit different. It literally doesn't like have a one-to-one correlation with whatever you say. Because if you're gonna have that problem, then you know who's to stop people from having a problem with me for my unfortunate living environment that I'm trying to change? You know, it's like it's kind of arbitrary. It has nothing to do with the content of what you say. Yeah, it's a personal attack. It has nothing to do with that. And so it's like when I think he personally, whatever, I do believe he wants to be nuanced. Like, I think he has like some level of integrity where he wants to know what he's talking about and he wants to be fair. I think his whole thing is he likes balance, at least in his mind. I don't, you know, the reality is very different than what I think he thinks. And I think that's his blind spot. And I think, you know, hey, Set, I think that's his blind spot. And I feel like he could do better. But it's not because of like any kind of like criticism for his character or like what, not because the mob, like especially like the woke mob or whatever, it's not for any of those reasons. Their reasons are dumb. Hating Asmongold just because they don't like what he says, that's very different than having a problem with what he says. You can have a problem with what somebody says, but if you hate someone because of what they say, that's a very different thing. And so those people have problems too. There's things I could say about their tactics. And I'm in this weird situation because I'm in a demographic that is part of the group of people that a lot of the things he says are not so positive about my demographic. Being a trans woman or just being a woman in general. He's not beating the incel allegations. It's like he just like everything he says about women are like absolutely degrading and just not fair at all. But you know, to be fair, he says the same thing about lots of people, but just because you see things some way doesn't mean it's true. Yeah, getting too old for online drama. I don't think you're ever too old for drama. In fact, as you get older, like I'm 37, but like as you get older, it's like you also like you kind of want more drama. People actually kind of like grow more immature as they get older. I think, if you're not careful, because there's so many slippery slopes that can happen. Oh, I got a staff of fire. I got an amulet of magic. Yeah, I don't know about that uncut emerald. I'm just gonna put it in my bank. Work and more responsibilities. Yeah, I mean, I got my own set of challenges. You know, I'm permanently disabled from a developmental disorder. I have autism-related issues that, I don't know if it's like thankfully or not, but thankfully it qualifies me for lifetime services. But see, right now I'm waiting for those services to start. It's been a year, and they keep just putting me on wait lists, and things are slowly starting. I should be starting with the job coach soon, and I'm connected with the case management for housing to get me out of this trailer. So things are moving forward, whether I want them to or not. So now I've gotten to a point where things are moving forward, and I don't even have to try anymore. But I do have to wait. So there's a difference there. If I take off the melee gear, does it fix my magic? Yeah, now I have magic +7. Magic +15. Magic +25. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so if I want to do magic, I gotta switch to all those. Yeah, being alive is good. I mean, I'm healthy. I'm a little bit, I feel a little bit sluggish, but it's comparative. I'm pretty damn healthy. But I'm being a little sluggish because I a little overdid it like 2 weeks ago with my workout. And so I've been a little bit slow. Today, I want to try to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out today, but like I want to do an IRL stream again. I want to get back. I've been doing IRL streaming, but I kind of only just started. And I think I need to slow down. I don't want to burn myself out. I think I may have just got some spam text. Yeah, you know, like, I know that people really, like, there's an issue with, like, people, like, there's a homelessness problem. I just got, like, a spam text about that. There's a homelessness problem, and the problem with what, like, you know, there's this kind of issue where, like, now there's all these bills passing where it makes it easier for, you know, cities to, like, remove, like, RVs or campers or, like, you know, people, like, pitching up tents and stuff. I know that these laws are well-meaning, and the problem is if you have abrupt change without alternatives, you're just creating bigger problems. And like, if you want to help homelessness, give people a path forward. Like, if you want to fix homelessness, give them a place to live. It's that easy. But if you just keep pushing people around and arresting people or harassing them, they're just going to keep living on the streets. You're not giving them the opportunity to even, like, get out of homelessness. Like, you're just, like, bullying people. So it's like, I know that these, like, laws are meaning well. Oh, we want to curb homelessness. We want to get rid of homelessness. It's like, well, if you want to get rid of homelessness, then do something to address it. Don't just, like, you know, kick everybody out. Because if, you know, but also, keeping these homeless encampments is also cruel. Do something about it. Don't just, like, let people camp. Like, that should not be what the goal should be. The goal should be, like, finding a way to permanently, like, give people housing options. And it's like, if you don't like homelessness or drug usage, then give them somewhere to go. Give them a path forward. They have no support. I mean, I have barely any support. I definitely have a support system because of North Bay Regional Center, but like, I have like no support outside of that, really. I have like a few family members. Like, I live in the trailer park here, like with my dad, and it's like barely surviving. It could be worse though. I could be homeless again. I'm not as bad as things used to be. Yeah, like if you get sick and you miss one day at work, suddenly you're not going to be able to pay rent. It's this bullying that, like, people are just terrified that they can't do or say anything that's going to rock the boat because they'll lose their job and then they'll be homeless. And it's like, dude, like, this is like, fear ultimately fails. Let's go to where is the agility trainer? Is there an agility trainer here? An agility course, I mean. Yeah, agility training right here. Oh, I gotta climb the wall. Yeah, I gotta go through the agility. We're gonna be doing this for a while. And then I gotta go around again. And do it again. I think, right? Oh, it's to the east. Okay. Kind of making IRL finds kind of hard. Yeah. Yeah, it is really hard to make IRL friends. I don't really know anybody. And thanks, Plotmaster, for the little assistance. And it's hard to feel like it's hard to feel like anything you say or do matters when it's like I don't have any friends to like hold me accountable for things, and then it's like I constantly worry. See, this is the other thing. I constantly worry that if I speak my mind, that people are not going to like me. And it's like this constant battle. And then it feels like it's too late. Like I've dug myself too much of a hole for being on social media because I've spoken my mind too much. But then it makes me feel angry because it's like, well, why am I not allowed to speak my mind without being punished? It doesn't mean that my beliefs or whatever are set in stone. They're just my current beliefs. Wait, what happened here? What's going on? Why am I stuck? Oh, maybe there's lag? Yeah, I'm gonna be going back out for IRL streaming when I can. I'm just like I'm a little bit like in a weird I'm in a weird mental space lately. I don't really know how to explain it. Doing the old agility course. The old glory hole. So I don't know, it's just I'm really kind of scared about my future. I don't really know how I'm gonna get to where I need to be. I don't even know where I need to be. How am I supposed to know if I don't have opportunities? It's like, it's kind of like, you know, the same thing I was talking about yesterday. It's just, it's really frustrating. And I'm just kind of venting about it. You don't have that much friends beside your clanmates? Oh, you play Call of Duty? Or Counter-Strike? Yeah, hopefully we can get agility level 20. RuneLight, there's a plugin called Agility that makes it easy to see where you click. Yeah, I'm not using RuneLight. We're using the official. I just gotta use my own memory. Memory training. Oh, you can activate it? There's a helper thing? What's the helper thing? Is it on interface? Yeah, I've been seeing a therapist for the past 5.5 years. I don't know if you're aware of my medical history. I got transgender surgeries. And you need a lot of therapy for that. But I went to therapy there we go. Now we got it. Now we got agility shortcuts highlighted. Yeah, I mean, talking to a therapist, it's really custom. So you got to understand that your therapist is only going to talk about you. Your therapist is only going to talk to you about stuff that you bring, and it's like a case by case thing. So like, you know, your therapist is not going to be able to read your mind, and a good therapist is not going to force you into certain things unless that's the kind of therapist that works with you. You kind of have to find like somebody who works with what you need. Your needs are going to be different than mine or from anyone. What's the mark of grace? Oh, it's just a count. Stamina potions, nice. Graceful outfits. Does that help like increase your agility? You don't really have LGBT friends? Well, you know, don't force it. You know, just, I think like in the end of the day, and I don't know if every single LGBT person feels the same way I do, but I didn't transition to be part of a group. I transitioned because I had personal needs. I transitioned because I needed the surgeries. And I'm a little bit of a kind of a nuanced person, just like I think anybody should be. Some people are really part of like the whole queer culture thing, and that's like different. It overlaps, but it's like I've never really like been a part of that. I would like to, but you know, I don't really have any friends who are, you know, I don't have too many friends who to like, you know, go to like, you know, like I don't go to drag events. I don't go to pride parades. I have nobody to go with. I also feel like it's a little dangerous in the political climate. You never know who's going to show up. You know, there's people who are violent and, you know, that's kind of what those people want. But then at the same time, like, I'm not the kind of person who really cares so much. Like, I'm like, I just want nuanced, like, people in my life, and I don't really care what demographic they're in. I don't become friends with someone just because they're LGBT, or just because they're black, or just because they're white, or like, I think that's weird. And it's like, doesn't it defeat the whole purpose? Like, aren't we trying to be normal? And if you want to be normal, then be normal. Normal just means you are who you are, and it shouldn't influence all your decisions. Yeah, I think people should be allowed to speak their mind. And like, if you don't, then people are just going to get closed off from each other. And ironically, it's going to go against your best interest. If your best interest is for people to understand, then screaming and yelling at people is not going to help them come to your side. And you know, they're going to come to your side because they see something in their best interest. And why would someone want to be like, if you see a trans person who has like absolutely like the worst personality possible, constantly getting in people's faces, screaming, and like, I understand if like, you know, someone's being like harassing because of someone's appearance, but if you like if you like look extremely masculine, you don't do anything at all to change it. You don't like wear makeup. You have like your hair is like, you should be wearing a wig, or you should be doing something with your hair or whatever. I mean, I'm kind of fortunate where like I don't have like balding or anything before I started transitioning, and so like I'm kind of like passing. So I kind of have what's called passing privilege. And you know, people might not think I'm the like hottest chick out there, but like I'm usually gendered correctly. Like, people usually just don't even think about my appearance or whatever. But there's people out there that are extremely and exceptionally masculine, and that's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But then don't like, I understand getting mad at people for harassing you, but like, don't, like, people are going to see you differently than other women. And like, if you're not going to do anything to, you know, that's why I got surgeries, was because I didn't want to get harassed. So like, if genitals didn't matter, then I wouldn't have needed the surgery. They clearly matter. People have genital preference. And if like people are trying to push this idea that if you don't accept trans women who are pre-op, if you don't want to date trans women who are pre-op, that makes you transphobic. No, it means you have genital preference. I do think that there is a little bit of a weirdness involved with people who have that genital preference. I think, but that, you know, but that's not my place. That's their own journey. If they have hang-ups about their sexuality, that's none of my business. It has nothing to do with me. It's not going to bother me. They're missing out. Like, to be honest, if somebody, you know, and I'm post-op, so it's a little bit different. But even so, there's people who would refuse to be with me because I'm post-op. Their loss. I'm not going to get upset about it. It means that the people who are more respectful of me are going to get a shot. You know, you have to earn it, right? Like, I feel like there's a more balanced and nuanced approach. And here's the thing, is I think, like, the amount of molding corresponds to the amount of access to transgender medicine that you have and to the amount of transgender acceptance that is in your life. So those are variables you can change. If you feel like you're being harassed on a constant basis, I don't, you know, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's time to move to a different town or to a different state or to a different country. Okay, like if every single day you're harassed for being trans, that's on you. Like, to be honest, there's things you can change. Like you can get vocal training if your voice is too masculine. You can do something about your hair. You can do something about your appearance. And you know, you can start hormones. You can get surgeries. Like, these are all things that help alleviate those things. But getting mad at other people is a losing battle. Are you narcissistic? Are you transphobic if you don't want to date post-op? I don't think you're transphobic. I think you're just closed-minded. Because you're not giving yourself the opportunity. You know, it's their loss. It's their loss. Because I'm fucking hot. You still look good no matter what. Yeah, I mean, I've always been considered attractive. I kind of have like hot privilege, I guess. I'm not trying to say I'm like you know, super like awesome, amazing, top shit. What I'm saying is, like, I've been objectively, like, people have approached me, you know, pre-transition and post-transition about how attractive I am. So I was considered a very handsome man. But you know, if somebody is gonna have a problem with me because I'm post-op, it's their loss. And, you know, I can find people who are going to be more mature and people who are going to respect me more. And, you know, because I care about myself. Preference isn't transphobic, but it is transphobic if you're specifically, like, harassing people because they're post-op. And, like, it seems like it's, like, a little bit of a weird hang-up. It feels like it says more about the other person than it does about me. I don't know if it makes them transphobic, but it does make them a little bit, like, kind of immature. Like, you're kind of closed-minded. You're not allowing yourself to be open to other experiences. You're so... It's almost like, it's kind of like... It's like pointing out that they have the same kind of fixation identity that they complain about. Because there's people who complain about how, like, oh, why are they always shoving it in our faces? Why are gay people and trans people always talking about being trans and gay? And at the same time, these same people are going to be like, oh, you know, I'm straight, bro. Baseball, am I right? Like, you know, like, these same people are going to be going out of their way to make sure everyone knows that they're straight. I don't think preference equals harassment. I think harassment equals harassment. And there's a point where preference becomes, like, more than preference, and it becomes harassment. Like, if you're going out of your way to harass people by, like, you know, you know, because they're trans, like, that's harassment. Like, if you're gonna go to someone and say, like, hey, you're ugly, like, you're fucking ugly, like, nobody fucking likes you, like, that's harassment. It doesn't even matter if they're trans or not. If you did that to anybody, you'd be harassing them. Like, it's like going to a bald guy and like calling him cue ball, rubbing his head, you know, like making fun of him, even though when he's expressed himself multiple times that he doesn't want to be that it hurts him, and then you just ignore him and don't even care. So it's the same exact fucking thing. It's the same exact fucking thing. You're disrespecting someone's boundaries. You know, obviously, you know, at some point you kind of just have to, like, accept it. I accept that there's a certain level of transphobia, and but it's slowly changing. I think people are like, there's a difference between transphobia and closed-mindedness. I think that's really important to make a distinction, because it's like, I think it's hard for people to even be aware of their preferences because there's so few trans people to pick from. So it's like, if most people will never meet a trans person, or if they have, they might not even know they're trans. And then there's guys out there that are so afraid of finding out that a chick that they're attracted to has a dick. They're like, does that make me gay? Oh, I'm fucking not gay. Fuck you. And then they go to the point of, in order to prove that they're not gay, they beat that person up. They have to be violent towards this person because they need to prove to themselves that they're not gay. Because they found her attractive, they jacked off to her, and then they found out that she had a dick. And then after that happens, now they're angry. Now they feel like they were betrayed, they feel like they were raped. There's all sorts of problems. And it's internal. It has nothing to do with the individual. It's all internal. I'm misconstruing multiple separate and complex topics, boiling down to the other person is in the wrong. I'm not, that seems like you. It seems like you're the one doing that. I'm actually being completely nuanced. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like saying like that, categorizing things from different points of view. Saying that you have a preference for women who didn't used to have a dick implies that there's something inherently wrong with that. And you're allowed to have that preference. What I'm saying is that you have to also accept that you're being closed-minded. You can't have it both ways. You are literally being the definition of closed-minded. And it's okay to be closed-minded. I'm pretty closed-minded on some things. Like, I don't approve of, like, like Jeffrey Epstein. But there's people who have more of an open mind than me. I'm not that open-minded. I'm sorry. I think what Jeffrey Epstein did was inherently wrong. Okay, but there are people more open-minded than me. That being said, I mean, that's a bad comparison because it might slippery slope, but it's different. It's different. It's intellectually dishonest to compare the two. To think that because I'm like, oh, but I think it's morally wrong for trans people to exist. It's like, yeah, but like I'm not. The difference is like I'm not hurting anybody. And then people are like, oh, but you're grooming the kids to be trans. Have you ever tried to get a kid to eat their vegetables or learn math or do their homework? Okay, how the fuck are you going to convince somebody who's not transgender to be transgender? And like, just like case in point, if someone gave you like $1 million to cut your dick off, would you do it? Usually as a weirdo, your preference is just being hot regardless. Yeah, I mean, that's not weird. That's just called being pansexual or being bi or whatever. Because if you have to ask yourself, there is an internal bias. If you are initially, see, this is the problem, is you look at the search history on Pornhub for trans people and it's exceptionally high. It's in like the top 4 of search terms. There's clearly a strong attraction to trans women and trans men, but like, you know, when people search for trans, they're looking for trans women on Pornhub, let's be real. You know, it's another disparity between men and women. And it's actually kind of gender confirming because you know, trans women are more popular on Pornhub than trans men. That's a bit gender affirming for both. Okay, because, you know, but people are clearly attracted to trans women. They're jacking off to us, but they're doing so secretly and publicly. This is like the problem, is that if you're okay with something in private, but you're not okay with people knowing about it, that's a you problem. It's not a me problem. So it's like if somebody's gonna have a problem with trans people, you have to ask yourself, like, what is it that's turning you off of trans people? And you have preferences, but if you're having preferences based on internal, it's not like, you know, nobody's gonna force you. I'm just saying, like, you owe it to yourself to kind of question these things because I want you to be happy. And you might even be gay. You might not even be attracted to trans women. You might only be attracted to men. And that's fine. There are more trans women than men? Oh, you mean trans men. Okay. I was thinking you were being extremely disingenuous. Yeah, there's like 1% of the population are trans women. Like 50% of the population are men. No, trans men, I don't know if there's more trans women than trans men, but I'm saying on Pornhub specifically, it's kind of like an upcoming, I mean, it's definitely a niche. But when people search trans, it implies that they're searching trans women. Like T-girl. And like other terms that might get me banned, but you know, like the she-male thing, you know, like it's like, I don't know if it's the same as the N-word, but it is kind of degrading, and I think things have changed. I don't really know. It's just, it's porn. Like, it's a different world, okay? Like, I didn't say it inherent. I did not say. You're the one who said it relates to inherent wrongness. I did not say that. What I said was that it tells me that you have an internal conflict. That has nothing to do with me. That's a very different thing than that there's inherent wrongness. And I said there's inherent wrongness with harassing people because of your preferences. And sometimes those overlap and people don't see that. And sometimes your actions are subconsciously affected by your internal systems. So a lot of people who are overtly trans, who are harassing trans women, refuse to accept responsibility by saying that, like, oh, but it's not transphobic to have a preference. And well, then why do you have to say it so many times? Why does everybody need to know your preference? Right? If it's the same argument a lot of people have against LGBTQ, is they say, why are you putting it, shoving it down everyone's throats? Well, I could say the same exact thing to people who were like, they need everyone to know that they're not gay. Every single action they take, they puff out their chest, they talk about sports, they, if they even get touched by another man, they start getting violent. Okay, that is a pattern of behavior. It has nothing to do with like any kind of like, you might be right that it's a preference, but if your actions are in a system of patterns, then it becomes transphobia. And it's a little bit, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of like a choosing your battles kind of thing. I feel like a lot of people in the trans community are just scared and they get emotional. And when you're backed into a corner, it's really hard to keep things objective. And I'm one of the lucky people who was able to get all the surgeries, and I think I kind of owe it to the trans community to kind of like have a little bit more of an objective viewpoint and seeing things from all the different angles, not just from a trans perspective, but from a hetero perspective, or you know, from a cisgender perspective, like looking at things from other people's perspective. Because hetero is, I mean, it's all kind of interconnected, and I think like refusing to acknowledge that sexuality and gender are kind of connected, but there is a difference. Like, you can be cisgender and gay, you can be trans and gay, but like I do think that it's different for both of those demographics. Like being a trans woman and being gay, I think is different than being like a cis woman and gay, but not very much. I think it's like splitting hairs. But there is a different like sense of identity, because like everybody has a different identity. If your identity is that from a very early age you played video games like me, then you didn't really think much about this growing up. You just thought about when you could get home to play, you know, Donkey Kong Country, because you wanted to play video games. You wanted to play Diablo 2. You wanted to level up your hardcore character. Like, that's the kind of stuff that was going on in my mind as a kid, and then eventually the dysphoria caught up and I couldn't focus on those things anymore. Now that I've gotten all my surgeries, I'm starting to open those things back up again. That's kind of like, that's a personal journey. Trans ally for 10 years, but people like you spouting I mean, the fact that you're calling it nonsense tells me more about you than it does about me. Actively turning allies into neutral spectators? I mean, I can't control what other people do with what I say. And this is that's kind of wherein lies the problem, right? Like, people are so fixated on what other people are doing and then projecting their own beliefs as if what I'm doing is literally what they're saying. And they're living a fantasy. They're projecting their own opinions and making it real. When I have my own beliefs, I have my own system of thoughts, and you're the one coming to those conclusions. And this is the case for anything. And I think like it's important to recognize this. Like, if you have 10 people watching the same movie, every 10 of those people are going to have a different experience. they're going to see a very different thing. They're going to focus on different things. If you had a dog and your dog died, and in the movie a dog died, you're going to react to that very differently than the people who watched it who didn't have a dog, right? Okay, enjoy your 0 viewers. Bye. You're losing my subscription, ma'am. So, good day. You've just lost yourself a viewer, ma'am. Good day. Bye-bye. There's the door. Yeah, we're on lap 30. Yeah, level 18 agility. Let's go. We're already well on our way to level 20. Now let's get to level 40. Literally just asking questions. Literally just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. I'm not transphobic. I just think that trans people are gross. I'm gonna say that every single sentence I possibly can. I don't have personal hang-up issues. I don't have daddy issues. Nobody said that. Like, it sounds like a you problem more than me. And I think people are projecting their own belief systems because of their own insecurities. And I think failing to recognize that is only doing yourself a disservice. Like, when people are so refusing to acknowledge that their beliefs come from an internal system, it doesn't come from the outside. Very rarely. There are obviously things that come from the outside, and they might influence it. But it's like, I feel like you're being very disingenuous and intellectually dishonest when you fail to recognize the multifaceted element of it. That everyone knows what I'm talking about. Everyone knows about the guy at the bar that as soon as one of his buddies accidentally brushes his hands against his hand, he's like, pulls his hand away immediately, puffs out his chest, starts talking about football. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know the guy I'm talking about, right? And none of his other buddies are anywhere near remotely that uncomfortable. But this guy's like starts breathing heavily. He's like afraid that he might be gay. And maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But like, he's getting so hyper fixated on the fact that one of his buddies accidentally touched his hand. Like, that is pathetic. Like, if you liked it, who cares? Doesn't mean you have to act on it. And even if it did, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're more afraid of what people will think about you than you are about what you actually believe. That if you come out and say, hey, like, I like men and you're a man, and you're afraid of people cutting ties with you, well then welcome to being LGBT. I'm sorry, but that's not gonna change. And you can find better people to be around. Those people aren't gonna change. And if they do, it's gonna be because you set boundaries and because you respect yourself. If you try to hide who you are because you're afraid of what people are gonna think about you, and yeah, I understand the stakes, because sometimes people's employment is at risk because their boss doesn't like gay people. Well, you can get a new boss. I know it's not easy. I obviously have problems with employment, and I understand that, but I'm not going to pretend to be someone else just to potentially have opportunities. I'm gonna find opportunities that match me, that match my reality. And I'm not going to disrespect myself by refusing to acknowledge reality. Yeah, if you ever express who you are, it doesn't even really matter. If you say that you like pineapple on pizza, you're gonna make people angry. Because people are really attached to their personal beliefs. Yeah, I mean, people show who they really are when you show them who you really are. And you know, so like when I came out as trans and I started transitioning, I had people initially, and what kind of made me go back in the closet the first time was I had people who were trying to pressure me not to be trans. They were like, hey, you don't really want to cut it off, and like, you know, even though that's like a really gross misunderstanding of what the surgery is. First of all, it's not literally cutting off the dick. Like, that would be ridiculous. No, it's like taking the tissue and doing a very intricate surgical procedure to transform the tissue. The only tissue that's removed is the erectile tissue, but that's like different. I mean, you don't want to be getting a boner in there. That'd be weird. That tissue doesn't even have any like sensory feelings. It just basically just gets the tissue erect, like, and you don't need that if you don't have one. Okay, we got level 20. Let's just keep going. I'm kind of liking this. We're gonna have to level agility up anyway, right? So may as well do it now. And we're talking about shit. I mean, we're here, we're chilling, we're talking about shit. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to be able to change anyone's mind. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to be me. And maybe people in a conversation are going to change their mind. But I can't control that. Ever. For anything. For any reason. I can't make somebody like pineapple on pizza if they don't like pineapple on pizza. I could say, you know, have you tried it? And if they say no, well, I'm like, well, how do you know you don't like it? But I'm not going to force them to eat it. That would be abuse. So it's like when people say, oh, you know, I'm not gay. Well, I'm like, have you ever like tried it? You know, like, I'm not gonna be the person who says that, but like to somebody. But if you haven't even tried it, or even worse, if you have tried it and you do like it and you refuse to acknowledge it, you know, I can't force somebody to come to terms with that. They're going to do that on their own timeline. But once you start harassing other people, especially if it's with violence, then I'm going to have a problem. Yeah, like anchovies on pizza. Or just even fish, like put some salmon on pizza. You know, just in general, if it's pizza, as long as it's not something actually, like, literally disgusting, like I'm not going to try escargot. I don't really want to eat it. Even though it's probably tasty, it's probably really chewy, but like it's probably going to be weird. I don't have to. And if somebody forced me to eat it, or kept pressuring me even when I said no, that crosses a line. So if I met somebody and they didn't want to be with me because I'm post-op, first of all, for any reason, if they wanted me to be pre-op, if they wanted me to have a penis, or if they didn't like me because I used to have a penis. Like, if I kept pressuring this person, I would be in the wrong. You know, I'm gonna make steps to protect myself. If I feel like someone's harassing me, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna say like, hey, like, can you back off? Like, you already made your point, like that you're not into me. There's a certain point where you're going above and beyond and you're trying to hurt me, that you're trying to pressure, like, you know, remind me, like it's like you want me to feel bad, like you have some kind of internal vendetta against trans people existing. So even acknowledging, like, I think people are just triggered, and you know, I hope that they get the help they need. But I care about them just as much as I care about people who are who are like being harassed, because the people who are harassing people, you know, there's a little bit of a hierarchy of needs here, but people who commit violence are also suffering, because they reached a point where they have numbed themselves and brainwashed themselves to allow themselves to be violent. That itself is a violence. A violence that was committed against these people. So if somebody is extremely vehemently loud and harassing like trans people, like, it's one thing to just say no, right? You're saying like, hey, I'm not interested, and then maybe you can still be friends. If you're not interested in be friends, well, that's fine too. Oh, I guess I disconnected for a second. Or maybe that was just from chat. Yeah, I think Chatterino went out for a second. Yeah, so I guess we got disconnected within the last 5 minutes. I don't know what happened. I think maybe my internet went out for a second. Yeah, so if you've only ever met 2 trans people, and the only people you've seen are trans people on the internet, first of all, how do you truly know that that's what your preferences are? What if the only woman you ever met was your mom, and you weren't attracted to your mom? How would you know you're attracted to women or not? But I'm not gonna like force people to do that's their own bullshit. Like anybody, like whatever they're attracted to, that's their own thing. But the second that you start coming after me for being who I am, then it becomes harassment, and that becomes transphobia. But there also is kind of like it's a gray area. I mean, it's a spectrum. There's like soft transphobia and there's like hard transphobia. I think like soft transphobia, it's like the classic image of like some 80-year-old like racist like white woman. She gets in an elevator and then a black guy comes in the elevator and she immediately gets on the defensive, clutches her purse, starts perspirating. Like that's like some deeply internalized racism right there. Even if she's not overtly, outwardly, even if she's fighting it, it's still internalized. So it's like that. It's like if you see a black guy and your first instinct is that you need to be on your guard, that is internalized racism. And in the same vein, if you see a trans woman and your first instinct is to be disgusted, that's like soft transphobia. That's what that is. It's not the same as like actually like harassing people. It's not the same as like protesting against our, human rights, our civil rights, our medically accepted surgeries, and medical care. If you're going to be campaigning against things that we need, I'm going to have a problem because you have no idea what you're talking about. You're not even the person who needs it. You don't know the medical research at all. And if you refuse to even look at the medical research and yet have these extremely strong opinions, I'm going to call it out. That is transphobia. You're so willfully ignorant that you're not even going to consider that you might be wrong. And then, yeah, you can turn that right back around me, but the difference is I'm backed up by experience and I'm backed up by medical research. There's a difference. There's empirical data. And there's so many anecdotal, evidence as well, like of people who've gotten these surgeries and just like me, they're like, I'm really fucking glad I did it. But there's also empirical data of like people reporting, hey, like this was good. My life is better. I can actually feel like life is worth living now. I think that's pretty good objective truth. that somebody should, I think we're in a better society if people want to live, because then they're more likely to contribute, especially if you live a life where you're like not constantly battling dysphoria every day, where you can actually function. Now, if you're going to have some kind of problem with people getting access to approved medical care, that becomes a political agenda. And I'm going to have a problem with that because it affects me and affects people like me. If I didn't have the access I had, my life would be objectively worse. And I'm against that. it makes sense, right? Like, I wouldn't want to go against my best interest. But there's people who want to go against my best interest. People who want trans people to suffer at all costs. And it doesn't matter if you're right or not about some things. Like, you're not right about most things. If you're right about, like, okay, you're not attractive because of XYZ. Well, that's a subjective opinion, first of all. And it also doesn't take into account that it takes time to transition. It doesn't happen overnight. If you start taking hormones, you're not going to start seeing effects for a couple of years. Okay, so most people who are trans, when they're starting out, they're going to look really awkward. But like, if you want to point that out every single chance you possibly can, that makes you an asshole. Like, it's like pointing out somebody who's like trying to go to the gym to lose weight and pointing out how fat they are. Like, that's extremely abusive. I think that's what people mean when they talk about fat acceptance. I don't think anyone in their right mind, keyword in their right mind, is advocating for fat equals healthy. I think people are advocating for, if you're fat, you shouldn't be considered less than other people. You shouldn't be harassed. Rune. Yeah. Like, I think that's what people talk about with fat phobia. They're not talking about, when fat acceptance means not fat shaming. It doesn't mean that glorifying being fat. I think most people who are overweight would prefer not to be. And they're struggling with, a lot of people, like, maybe they get to the point of depression where they just don't even care anymore. And then that's a part of it. But harassing someone isn't going to make it change. It's going to make it actually less likely to change because it's going to make someone feel worse. And actually, there's like scientific data proving that if you're trying to help somebody, pep talks actually have the opposite effect. When somebody is at the point where they're so unmotivated that they don't even want to try, forcing someone to try is only going to make it worse. Yeah, I mean, fat people do want to work on themselves, and they do need, because I feel like society would be better if there were less obese people. And I think people would be better off because they wouldn't be dying early. They wouldn't be unhealthy. They would be happier. But I can't make them do that. And by trying to make them do that, you actually have the opposite effect. It just pressures people and it reminds them of their own inadequacies, and then they actually get worse. So like, fat acceptance isn't about like saying that like fat equals healthy. Like I said, I don't think anyone in their right mind believes that. But it does acknowledge that, hey, people are on journeys. Not everybody is going to be at the end of their journey, okay? Like, sometimes people are at the point where they are so unmotivated that they don't even want to get healthy. And the best thing to do right then is to lead by example, not to harass people, not to try to force them to do it, not to lecture them. It actually has the opposite effect. It's actually like empirically like proven, scientifically proven, that as a fitness coach, the best approach to helping someone through their fitness journey is through, focusing on the journey, not the destination, and not fixating on, like, if somebody wants to eat a slice of pizza, don't like be like the coach that says, nope, you can't eat that. Like, no, that pushes someone further into not having autonomy over themselves. In the end of the day, having autonomy and making the decision yourself is what lasts. When you make the decision to put down the cookies, when you make the decision to put down the donuts, to not get the soda, to not eat the burgers, the fast food, when you make the decision, not your coach, not your friends, not your family, not some random people on the internet. The best thing you can do is to lead by example and to affirm people's actions. Like, hey, like you did good this week. You went on a walk when you didn't have to. This week could have been worse. You could have eaten the donuts and you didn't. You know, or you could have eaten 5 donuts, but you only ate 4. Right? Like yeah, I weigh like 158 pounds. I'm a little bit, I'm not over, I'm actually like right in my weight range for my height. When I'm a little bit underweight, I'm like 140 to like 135. When I'm underweight, I get really sick. Yeah, I've been live for about 3 hours. Yeah, I think now's a good time to cut you guys loose. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm 6 foot tall. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean we had a fun stream. We had some good conversations. Depending on how I feel in a little bit, I just kind of need some time away from screens for a bit, and then depending on how I feel, I'm gonna, you know, get set up to go on an IRL stream, and we're gonna go on a hike, and I'll get some exercise, since I've been talking about exercise. It's like, see, I kind of like, you know, talked myself into getting more exercise, but like, you know, it's a step-by-step process. But I'm pretty good at getting exercise. I'm pretty damn healthy. I'm not obese. I can't even imagine what it's like to get to that point. And I can only imagine that the people who are at that point don't need more people harassing them. And I don't like that about Asmongold. So like I said, there are things that Asmongold says and does that I really don't like. I feel like his approach about fat people is extremely abusive. And it doesn't help anybody. It just makes people angry. It makes people hate fat people. It makes people just, it doesn't help anybody. It just causes problems. And it's like, dude, like your approach is to basically just constantly harass people for being overweight. Like, it's like, even if it's true, like, come the fuck on. How is that supposed to help anybody? Anyway, yeah, I mean, I have some opinions about things maybe not everybody likes, even among trans people. I'm pretty sure I got canceled a few times. But you know what? I'm not gonna pretend to be someone I'm not. And also, my beliefs aren't set in stone. And if somebody's gonna have a problem with my beliefs and then attach it to my character, that's their loss. Just like the guys who are like, oh, I don't want to have sex with a trans woman. It's like, dude, nobody was offering. It's pretty presumptuous that you think I want to sleep with you. But like, you know, like, especially if what if there was somebody that, like, you know, was attracted to me, and then through our conversation they find out I'm post-op and I'm trans, and then they change their mind. I'm like, okay, well, your loss. That says more about you than me. Like, I'm gonna find somebody who respects me and who you know, deserves all this, you know? Like, I'm fucking hot. I mean, they might not think so, and I might not be hot all the time, especially like during my live stream. I kind of have different personas, and also cameras don't always do me justice. I'm not super professional at lighting and angles and camera stuff. I'm pretty sure I could look more attractive on stream if I really had the things set up properly, but I don't really know how to do that. I've tried, and there's a point where you get it kind of diminished returns. Like, I need to get to, right now I'm just trying to like live my life and wait through these resources. I need to level up my life a little bit and then reassess things. So right now I just need to kind of kill time, like kind of just enjoy life and be happy, have these fun conversations, talk about things that are important to me. Like, That's really all I got to be doing, and I'm doing it.